All right, guys. Well, hey, welcome everybody back to day 4 of the Snow and Tell webinar series here, talking about all things snow. So I'm very, very grateful to have these three gals joining us today. We'll get into the agenda here, just so you guys know. Day 4, it's women leading in snow. And so we're going to talk about how to run your operation, talk a little bit more about software. I was sneaking ahead a little bit on the slides, and I think we're going to get a little bit more granular today, which I know a lot of you guys were asking for as the webinar has progressed this week. So just a really quick housekeeping. If you guys are new here or weren't on the previous days, we do have a live chat going. So I'd love to do this really quick. Actually, if you guys don't mind, roll call. Where is everybody dialing in from today? Leave me a comment. Let me know where you guys are coming from. I love opening up webinars that way because we're all across the country, but we're all one team in one community in one industry. And so I don't care if you're from Pennsylvania, Minnesota, California, and I don't know if you get a lot of snow in California, maybe up in the mountains, but we're all one team in one industry moving this thing forward together. So it's great seeing where everybody's coming from. One other thing I'll say, we have a Q&A chat. So a different chat thread than the webinar chat is the Q&A. And we're going to answer those questions real time for you guys. You all did such a great job the last couple of days putting the questions in there. And that way they don't get lost in the regular webinar chat. We'll try to answer those as we can real time. And then any of the questions that might not be totally on topic but are still pertinent, maybe we'll wrap up with some of those at the end here with a Q&A. All things being said, the webinar is recorded, so I know a lot of you guys are looking to get those notes after or maybe rewatch this later. You will get a copy of it, so fear not if you're on a mower right now or you're doing some leaf cleanups or some last minute pruning. We totally get it. Don't worry about it. We'll make sure that you get a copy of the webinar and can always take this with you, maybe put it in your pocket later as you go to the gym or the grocery store over the next couple of days. So all things being said, we're honored to have you guys part of this. It's all brought to you by LMN and Granum. We're very, very grateful for them to offer this. So if you guys ever happen to see any of the panelists that we've had on all week or the LMN team at a conference or a trade show, make sure you give them a high five and say thank you so much to them for volunteering their time. All right, that being said, as we continue this conversation, I'm going to get to our panelists here, and then I'm going to take a back seat. Very excited about having, like I said, the women leading today's conversation. We've got 3 of some of the best that have ever done it joining us today. So I'll give a quick introduction of each of them, and then I'll let them go into their background a little bit more. But I'm going to start with one of my more familiar faces lately, which is Mrs. Lex Steele. She is doing all things training here at LMN, and she's got a big heart and a big passion to help you guys grow your business and really make LMN work for you. I've actually got to meet Lex once or twice now, and we were there at the LMN boot camp in Ann Arbor, Michigan. God, it feels like just a couple of days ago, but it was about a month ago.
Yeah.
And she was doing such a great job there. So we're really excited to have Lex on today. Nicole is joining us as well. They've got a jamming business with Downer Brothers Landscaping over in Mass. I'm really excited about learning a little bit more about Nicole and her fantastic business. So excited about having her on as well. And then Janna Bradley, let you guys know Janna as one of the founders of TBG, but also LMN, and just a plethora of knowledge. I've learned just as much from Mark Bradley as I have from Janna Bradley along the way with a lot of the webinars and series that she has put out in the training and education that she does as well. So big heart for the industry, big heart to help you guys grow. All things being said, I'm going to take a step back and we're going to oh, there you go. And just reading the chat. I'm going to let these gals introduce themselves a little bit further. So, Lex, I'm going to yield to you if you want to go into your background and what you're excited about today.
Thank you, Brian. It's so great to see you again. Yeah, Ann Arbor it does feel like it was literally yesterday, but it might have been a couple weeks ago, but it was
Yes.
great seeing you again. But hi, everyone. My name is Lex Steele. I am a customer success manager here at LMN. And really, I think my start in the landscape industry is the fact that my father is actually a snowplow operator, and he's been a snowplow operator in the town of Oakville. I think I'm not going to age him, but longer than I've been alive. So I, kind of knew that, my father was out working and that if he's not here on Christmas, he'll be back. Like he'll be back at some point. But it's been really great and kind of serendipitous to be a part of LMN because then I get to actually see the business owners who are making sure their operations, especially the women that are part of it, so that everyone can get in and out safe. But most importantly, I think I get to put that with my love of ensuring that systems are streamlined so that people can get home faster and they're not, having to stay back in the office after working a 12-hour shift of hours that I know I wouldn't be up for. But with that being said, I am joined by two amazing, amazing women. And I'm going to pass it to Janna. Oh,
Oh,
Janna.
microphone. All good.
That's a
I did that
classic
earlier.
move, right? Classic move. So happy to be here. Thanks, Lex, Nicole, Brian. Pleasure to see you guys again. My name is Janna Bradley. As Brian said, co-founder of LMN and also TBG. Many, many years in the snow operations and business development, probably 20 plus, which kind of gave us the platform to put some input into the budgeting and operations and systems for LMN. Recently departed from LMN in a retirement function. I don't know. I don't feel retired, but still striving in the industry to do some educational events. I just can't stay away. I love this industry too much, and I'm super happy to be here today.
Awesome.
Nicole.
Great. My name is Nicole Downer. I'm president of Downer Brothers out here in Massachusetts. I'm really proud to be here with this great group of women that I respect. Janna and Lex, what a treat to be with you. Brian, thanks for the energy, and I agree that the men would be lost without us. So yeah,
100%,
I'm
girl.
glad to be here.
100%.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and my passions are culture, systems, and I absolutely love technology. I'm no great expert at technology, but I also love Ted Lasso, and I'll just use a line from him. I just really try to channel curiosity and be curious about tech. And it's led us down a lot of roads, LMN obviously a big one of them. Yeah, I'm really excited to kick off or be part of this snow and ice kickoff and share some ideas and hope I can help someone.
Love it. Love it. Well, guys, we are going to jump on into it here. Just a quick reminder, if you guys have questions, throw them in the Q&A chat. We'd love to hear your questions today. These ladies are volunteering their time. So if you have questions, please ask. This is your time to do it. Don't, I would say the only silly question is the one that you don't ask. So I don't care if it's macro. I don't care if it's granular. These gals have built tremendous businesses. They're doing big things. So if you have any questions today for the group, throw them in the Q&A chat. We're going to make sure that we answer those real time. So that being said, we got a lot of slides to click through. We're going to get a little more granular today. I know it's going to spark a bunch of side conversations and rabbit holes like it always does. So without further ado, Lex, I'll let you take it away, girl.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian. All right, everyone. So today we are talking snow operations, women in snow operations, which I'm so excited to have Janna and Nicole here for that real world experience. But Brian, I know it's about the ladies. So if you have a great story, please feel free to chime in. We're not gonna silence you here. We'd be more than happy. But obviously when it comes to snow, the struggle is real. I know snow is not always the most glamorous industry that everyone is knocking down your door to apply for, as well as in terms of equipment, salt shortages. I did work at a Home Depot where there was a salt shortage, and I will say it was interesting to say the least. So I could only imagine as business owners how it affected you, but going even through customer expectations, pricing, insurance, the responsibility, etc. But with that being said, I just want to ask Nicole, Janna, what have you guys seen on the front lines there?
Specifically with regard to any specific topic in the staff or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, all of these things are true for us. Finding staff is difficult. The equipment thing is really hard. Salt shortages also with ice melt has been a real issue for us. Yeah, we've got it all. So happy to talk in greater depth, but yeah, that's where I'd like to start. Felt it all.
Janna, as you guys grew a big business, I'm sure there was no struggle for TBG in Canada, right? Like totally no big deal, easy peasy.
Cakewalk. Yeah, I mean, where do you start, right? I think we all essentially have the same struggles. There's probably about those 20 core when you include, people, training, equipment, materials, everything in there. And then you're dealing with weather, staff, and people as well. The back office things of trying to keep paperwork straight and, making sure the insurance is at the threshold it has, and the due diligence that you have, and the record keeping. There's a lot to manage within a snow business. But on the flip side, the profit's real when you run it right. So it can be very, very rewarding. And at the end of the day, if you manage it right, and we always used to go by the law of averages over the 3 years, you get a season with a little bit of snow, you get a season with a mid snow, and then you get a season with a lot of snow. And somewhere in there, it all averages out and you end up making money. So, struggle's real, but can be profitable.
Better be, right?
Yeah, for
Hard
sure.
work, a lot of risk.
Amazing. Well, with that said, we do have some slides here where we want to really dive into communication and coordination during snow events. Because unlike maintenance every day, summer, it's bright out, you're able to schedule things out, you're able to ensure everyone's doing what they need to do. But obviously when it comes to snow, it is random. Mother Nature, I think that's very perfect for today, is what's going to be deciding when it's going to snow and how much. So in terms of crew communication, we're talking pre-storm planning, in-storm messaging, post-storm. And I want to ask Nicole, what have you seen with your crews and your teams in terms of planning and the messaging and just ensuring that everyone is kind of on the same page, but everyone's up to date as well?
I would say communication is probably the most important thing that we do to keep both our staff on task, as well as stay in touch with our customers to, have the empathy for them too, that they're also kind of in a crisis situation and they want to know there's a plan. So for communication for us, we're very proactive, both with our staff and with our clients, anticipating storms, sharing information about storms, letting them know when we think things are going to start, updating them when things change, and really just stay on it constantly. We're kind of letting people know there might be a storm on Friday on the Sunday before, and then kind of keeping in touch all the way through. And same is true. It just got to think like as much as we're in a crisis, both our clients and our staff also are working 24/7 and really kind of worried about snow and ice. It's high pressure, it's high stress. So communication seems like the thing that calms people down the most.
Yeah,
No,
for sure. I think there's an element of preseason planning in there too that's critical for the communication. I know we took a lot of time and it took a lot of years to figure this out, is that preseason planning of where you actually physically take the time to go and walk the lots and mark out the areas that are of concern and look at the preseason damages or preseason concerns, right down to where the asphalt is holding, may hold water or may hold ice, or areas to plow and things like that. And then having that communication out to the crews and set up properly, whether it's a snow binder or a digital plan or site photos, being able to actually talk with the crew leads and the drivers on those specific areas, it made a world of difference for us. And having it obviously all in one place digitally was a game changer once we had that all figured out. So that for us, the preseason planning was huge. So spend the time. It's expensive, but it's worth it because the efficiencies are huge. You save the money in the long run.
Jen, I feel like you're describing my week. We just had our kickoff, which was great. A lot of hands-on training, as well as more classroom style training. And then we've been going to sites. We've been documenting damage that already is existing to differentiate with the with what we may cause in the act of doing snow and ice. So you just perfectly described the last week or so for us. So it's great.
One thing I wanted to chime in here, I love what you guys are both relating to, is like having a plan. And we had shared on the tail end of yesterday's webinar, it came from like emergency response. A friend of mine said once, we don't rise to the occasion, we sink back to our level of training. And I was like, my gosh, if that's not one of the statements of the century, right? And so having that plan going into snow can make all the difference. Can I ask you guys a little bit more about your preseason planning? Because Janna, I'm going to tee this up to you really quick. You
Sure.
you and Mark are like the the systemization, the strategy folks, you know, if I'm asking ChatGPT, how would Janna approach this problem, right? Like I'm thinking strategy and vision for you guys. How as folks continue to build out their SOPs, right, year over year over year, somebody says, well, we don't have a snow strategy. The snow strategy is it snows, we go plow. Well, how can
Mhm.
we begin to formalize a snow plan? Do you have any suggestions there?
Yeah, I think you really need to start with the type of projects that you're on. I mean, I think we all have a residential or a commercial or an industrial kind of focus, and then that will relate that way.
Mm,
But essentially going out and just getting a sense of what you're looking at, how many pieces of equipment that you're going to need, your trouble areas, where your areas are that you're going to push to, stack, how are you going to deal with additional snow? Do you have on-site storage? Things like that, and really documenting that area in a whole. And back way before we had, you know, all of the different formats and things like that, and LMN and other softwares, we just used a Google Drive. We just simply uploaded pictures and forms and documents into a digital folder that everybody could log into and access if they needed it. So you can be as sophisticated or as not if you want. I mean, back even to snow binders, you know, in the end of the day, everybody got a binder. They had a picture of the site, they knew where to go. But this day and age, you know, a simple Google Drive, upload the site photos, upload the site map, upload any information. There used to be one particular site that we would do that was a school that a specific member of parliament used to live beside the school. And he would absolutely lose his mind if we were there after midnight, and made a huge, you know, deal about it to the school. And it got to the point where we would have a note in big red letters on the digital platform saying, do not plow without approval after 11 p.m., you know,
mm.
and that just, you know, minimize chaos. So it's those small little things like that that you review with the team, communicate with the team, and have that visible for everybody, even a new driver that might take over. Those small things are critical. And if you can eliminate confusion and increase communication and efficiency, it's a win.
I love that. I love that. So a pre-plan, a post-plan, and a during plan, you know, and what's
Absolutely.
working, what's not working out there, guys. I love that. Jessica Shipper said, Brian, we document each snow event, how much snow came, issues, start times, end times, salting, helps the year after year to know what worked and what didn't work. I absolutely love that. Nicole, would you mind, if you don't mind, getting a little bit more granular? I love the pre-site inspections, the equipment list. Like,
Mhm.
what else do you guys do there at Downer Brothers?
Yeah, so we use a program called Company Cam to document all of our photos for the pre-site check to kind of make sure that we know what we own, what we don't. For our kickoff, we really kind of outline for our guys what the process is, who's in charge, what the assignments are, kind of what the procedures are going to be, how to use LMN, how to access a route, all of that kind of information, because it's a little different than green season because it's not scheduled. We give them an opportunity to practice. We get hands-on experience with all the equipment. Just in our yard, we spread ice melt in the yard, really kind of talk about how much volume we need for a certain size of space. We talk about photos in LMN. That's key to us to have photos logged in LMN, site maps in the files on LMN to just know where all those resources are and to really help our team understand the importance of taking photos before, during, and after a snow and ice event so we can document. It's GPS stamped, it's time stamped so that we can document that we did our due diligence, that we provided the service we were supposed to provide, and we created a safe environment. So important for liability. So we really just try to get through all the nuts and bolts so that everyone understands everything. We use an app called Synthesia as well, which is an AI tool, which allows us to just kind of keep everything in Spanish and English. We have a very bilingual staff, so that our thing is, in the past, our learning wouldn't be equitable. So this software really allows us to make sure everyone receives the same message and everyone gets the same information. So that makes a huge difference for us. And yeah, it's
I
a
love
fantastic tool.
I
Easy
love
to
that.
use, easy to use.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think Christian, our friend Christian Blyce is on here. Newly married, by the way. Everybody say congrats,
Yeah.
Christian.
And Christian's
Congrats.
the responsible party for that tool. So
Yes, yeah.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that.
That.
I was just gonna say, so you guys have a plan, like Jenna was just saying, you guys have had a plan. Let me ask you this: what would your suggestion be? And this is where I'm at. You know, we're wearing 5 different hats. We're in transition season between maintenance and leaves while we're selling and getting ready for snow. It's so busy right now, and we're just trying to wrap up the schedule and final pruning and cutbacks, right? Like most folks. What's your suggestions for somebody who would say, I just don't have the time to do training? That all sounds great. It's easy for Downer Brothers to say they've got a big business. But if somebody's got a team of 10 and they're just, you know, knee deep in it, do you have any suggestions on how they can make time or any upside about spending time on training and what it's unlocked for you guys?
Yeah, I guess what I would say, for every hour of training, you save so many hours in the field. So don't give yourself an excuse. Find that time. I remember one night in the middle of the night, I woke up like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing what I should be doing. And that was hiring. You should be waking up at night right now realizing, oh my gosh, what are the useless things that I'm doing that I can delegate to someone else so that I can prioritize that planning? Because otherwise you're going to make your winter just as crazy as the fall is right now. And winter is so high stress. Don't do that to yourself. And everything's scale. You know what Jenna's company has done, I mean, as it's such a larger scale than mine. And then, the person smaller than me kind of saying, hey, I'm not set up to do that. Yes, you are. Just get on Synthesia, learn how to use it. It's not that hard. Or just put together some basic planning. Even just highlighter on a site map off Google Earth can be a great way to get started. Go on site to your job site, bring the key people there, find the time and do it. It's just so important.
I love that. I was just gonna say when snow falls, that is not the time to get a plan. I know elephant
Yeah.
in the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's legitimate anxiety that snow's coming, and then there's the we didn't plan for the test at school, you know, the night before and you're cramming. Okay. Like let's
Yeah.
not do that to ourselves. Let's not do that to our team. As I've come to learn, and I hope to continue to go on this conversation, A players do not like that. They want to plan. Your folks want to know, yes, there's some elements of variables and uncertainty, but let's mitigate as much as we can. Okay. So have a plan. If you don't have a plan, this is the year you go through and you document everything you're doing. And you make a plan as you go. Janna, do you want to speak on that a little bit more? Because I know you guys are the
Yeah.
planning people.
Well, I think we all kind of suffer with the snow season where we, see attrition with staff, right? They're put in the first couple of shifts and then they're out the door type of thing. And the more planning, the better retention, the happier they are, the more they know what's going on, what the expectations are at the end of the day. And I just saw one of the comments in the chat saying, we have a lead hand meeting at 3 o'clock the day before the storm. And then everybody knows what the expectations on. We know if it's small, big, if there's any equipment issues, and then they all go and they get their sleep in and they're ready just to get up and go without any conversation. It's the 4 a.m., jump in the trucks, off we go. And I absolutely love that idea. Those things are the simple things. It builds a great culture, it builds great communication. And that's just one small little piece.
I love it. I love it. I love getting a plan and sticking to the plan and doing a dry run even, right? Like you guys had said. I
Yeah.
love that. Somebody said that. Do a dry run, the week before, the day before, All right, Lex, back to you, girl. We'll keep it moving. I know we spent a little bit of time here, but this is an important one, so I love it.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
problem. So next up, we do have a slide more so about scheduling. So I am going to take a moment to be an account manager. So within LMN, there is the ability for unscheduled routes, but I think I'm going to take it a little off the slide here. I actually like to recommend job groups, because one thing you guys just all mentioned is that when snow comes, it's here, and there's not necessarily someone that is going to be able to get up at 3 a.m., 2 a.m., earlier than that to actually schedule these unscheduled routes. So this is a best practice in LMN, but I would say if we're ensuring that everyone, no matter how small or big your company is able to do snow specifically successfully actually in LMN. I actually recommend job groups. So Janna, Nicole, scheduling, making sure everyone is on the road, everyone's going where they need to go. We don't have 3 crews showing up to the same place. How have you guys been successful in that?
Yeah, and I think, schedule as the word is used within the software is just a, it's a template, it's a format. Which sites are responsible to who? In what order should they go do them? Are there any critical components that are responsible for it? And where the most flexibility in use we used it for was, you always blow a hydraulic hose, somebody's down, they're behind in their route, something's happened, and you can very easily redispatch somebody into another route without trying to make 100 phone calls and try to find out where are you. They're not answering their phone, they're screwing around with the plow. You can simply see, a schedule in front of you of how far they've gone, what they've completed, and transfer somebody else over to help that person out. That was the biggest win for us in having, a quote unquote scheduled or rooted scenario where we could see who was responsible for what.
Nicole, you got to add to that?
I agree that that the job groups and the routes definitely create structure that then allow you to troubleshoot in a way that can be really effective and makes you feel calm and makes, I don't know, streamlines things.
Absolutely. And what I love actually about both unscheduled routes and job groups within LMN is the fact that on the actual crew app, you're able to utilize the live crew tracking to see where they've actually punched in. Because like Janna just highlighted, things happen when it's snowing, whether that be a piece of equipment, someone lose cell service, et cetera, et cetera. But I really love the fact that there's some real-time insights. And I do want to say, when it comes to that during in the thick of it communication, what has gone wrong for you guys, but also what were you able to do to ensure that you turn those things around? And that could really be anything that you guys remember.
Well, where do you start? Yeah, I think the real-time insights, it really is a game changer. I mean, I can specifically speak to a customer during my time at LMN that had a really interesting story where he had to attend his brother's wedding down in Florida during snow season. And high stress, wasn't used to leaving during the snow season, but was determined to learn LMN enough that he felt comfortable enough to go out and be able to watch the real-time tracking, to see the dispatching, to see where his crews were. And, he sent me a message after and just said, you know what? It was easy. I was able to see what happened. We had one small issue with the customer. I was able to proactively call them and say, hey, listen, you've got a school bus parked across your gates. We can't access that property. What would you like us to do? And he said, smooth. So just having data and information in front of you, no, it doesn't matter where you are. You have that ability to communicate with your team and see what's going on. So that was kind of a really cool insight where it's not necessarily you're sitting in the truck in the middle of the snowstorm with all these papers and phones trying to figure out where everybody are. It can be so much easier.
I love that. The biggest thing is I keep hearing is make a plan and then disseminate the plan. Make sure everybody can get access to the plan or the routes or the schedule, etc. I don't care if it's a big whiteboard in your storage locker and you have a smaller company, or you have a gal back at home dispatching and making sure everything's getting done. You got 25 wheel loaders out there. Just make a plan and everybody communicate on the plan. I love that. Nicole, anything else you want to add? But this is great. I love this.
Yeah, I would just add that I think it's a pretty vulnerable thing to be an operator in snow and ice. You don't have visibility, especially the bigger you get, you don't know where everyone is. That this tool is super critical. You can't be everywhere, and without it, I don't know how I don't know how people would do it. I know a company, we had have a contract that left us for a year and came back to us. And in the middle of a big snowstorm, the entire crew walked off site. I mean, I just can't even imagine what that was like. But just having this brain that can sit in an office and, like Janna was saying, have it come with you remotely, it's powerful.
I love that. Yeah. It's Christian, again, he's commenting, "You guys, create your routes, create your groups." Our company, literally right now, I got my guys in the shop building our routes today. So we are right on cue. Snow was pencils down end of September. So you guys know what that means. You get all your contracts back end of October.
Yeah.
Gotta love it. And we've only been talking snow since June, but anyway, so I love this. Lex, back to you, girl. This is great. I love this.
I was gonna say, Brian, I think you're actually behind compared to some of the clients I work with, but I'm just kidding.
We are. Hey, you're not wrong.
Yeah. No, there's some clients I have who in the middle of the summer, I'm like, "Do you do snow?" And they're like, "I don't want to hear about that." And I'm like, "We're gonna talk about it because we need to get this ball rolling."
Well, hey, we were the November 15th guys, so we're 2 weeks early this year. So
Yeah.
glass half full, right?
Absolutely.
Well done.
And then in terms of optimizing operations, obviously there are plenty of features in LMN that eliminate paperwork. I just spoke to the live crew tracking, the maps, more so daily review as well. That's looking over our timesheets and just ensuring what got done that day and did it get done. Also, is it correct? Because as we know, timesheets carry a lot of information, a lot of critical information, especially when it comes to snow in terms of photos, notes, weather, etc. But even the pieces of customer service in terms of live site tracking and transparency and communication, especially if you use our customer portal, having your job sites actually, or clients, I should say, actually see that data once that timesheet is submitted, as well as just invoicing and job costing, optimizing and streamlining those operations. And I'll just say, like, what have the both of you seen, and just how does that put your business just one step forward when you are utilizing all the tools in your tool belt to optimize those operations so that you're not having to kind of pick up those pieces or piece together what's going on, especially during a day like a snowstorm?
It was cash flow for us. Our billing frequency, like it increased so quickly. We were able to bill an invoice literally the next day. We had the information, the services were checked off. We knew what the extras were. We knew what the hours were. It didn't matter if you're billing per push, per inch, per hour, whatever it was. Everything's right there. You send out the work report, you send out the bill, you send out the invoice. Obviously, if you're on a seasonal or monthly, that's a different story. But usually you have to send out something to the customer after every snowfall, or you should provide some sort of a feedback report for them. And the other thing with that was we were also able to bill quickly in order to pay the subcontractors as well too, because the subcontractors use the same system that we did. So we were able to say, hey, yep, everything matches. We've sent out the bill the next day. And then we were able to pay the subcontractors a lot quicker. And every year they came back and they showed up every single night. We had no issues with those subs by being able to increase our cash flow. Pay the salt, pay the subs, pay the payroll. It's tough in the winter to get through that when you have long stretches of snow. If you're not on seasonal contracts, it's key.
No, absolutely. I found, especially with the clients I've spoken to, when it comes to like per event or per push, where the timesheet is driving that cash flow, specifically that they are, it doesn't matter how tired they are, they have someone from the ops team looking at that daily review, making sure everything is done, and they're also on their guys before their guys hit the pillow of like, did you send and submit your timesheet? Hey, what's going on with this job site? Because we're all humans, and I'm assuming someone who's been someone who's been plowing for 12 plus hours, you're not going to ask them the next day and say, hey, what happened here? They're going to go, I don't know, there was snow, buddy. Like, what do you want? What do you want from me? But I just wanted to pass it to Nicole. Like, anything to add just regarding optimizing operations, LMN related or not? Just what's your take there?
Yeah, I would just say the various tools that we have give us a sense of being in control. And there's nothing I hate more than forensics. I'm not a detective and I don't want to do detective work.
Yeah.
So, really having those tools and having our team utilize them so that we don't have to do that work allows us to do what you guys are talking about with like keeping cash flow and keeping that invoicing kind of running smoothly and quickly. But it also just saves you a lot of crazy. Um, yeah.
Let
So
me,
it's powerful to have tools.
let me ask you, both Nicole and Janna, and Nicole, I'll tee up with this one. Where have you guys noticed holes that you've noticed companies that aren't utilizing software, or, and again, not a pitch here for LMN folks, but folks that are looking to grow, any struggle points that you guys had as you continue to grow and scale snow? Because Downer is known as like very sharp with snow. You have, you know, a big outfit, large operation. But would you mind sharing candidly like any of the stress points or fractures in your organization as you continue to grow that maybe software helped or element helped, or just some thought process helped along the way as these guys continue to scale their snow business?
Yeah, like our journey, even with LMN, has been one of just kind of a layer of the onion, adding more layers as time goes on. So first starting kind of with estimating, knowing our numbers, the item catalog being set up, all of that. But you know, kind of working your way out to then using time, then you tracking materials in time, and then, you know what I mean? Like, and I think that line of just being curious, it's like, okay, like how can I further optimize it this year? You set your plan and then you have all your wishes of the things that you find frustrating that like, I wish I could implement this year. I started using ChatGPT to keep my winter work list. And then I'm sure I will start a ChatGPT list for what I'm going to do next season. But everything I find annoying, I log into there and I add some notes of things that I'm looking to improve. And just keep trying to maximize, get better every year. Take little steps during the season. Every little step forward counts. But then in between the seasons, you can take some pretty giant leaps forward. And that kind of attitude has really served us well.
Hmm. Janna, anything you want to add on that one?
Yeah, I think usually and typically as an industry, we're all pretty guilty of looking at the history or reflecting after the fact rather than looking in the season of our job costing. So we kind of wait till the end of the season or the end of the job or the end of the of that section that you're looking at and not paying attention to what's happening at the time. So even if you're just using a simplified estimated hours or estimated days or estimated pushes versus actual, and you can say simply in your head, hey, listen, I thought there was going to be 20 pushes and I've bid for 20 pushes, but we've been out 18 times and we're only halfway through the season. Okay, red flag, right? So whether that's a digital data or whether it's just you calculating that, what are you going to do to change that? Because if you've only bid a certain amount of estimated hours, then you're going to start going backwards on that job. So how are you going to change it? How are you going to be more efficient? Where can you find extras? And it's important that you do that, you know, monthly throughout the season. Check those first couple of snowfalls. Are they coming in at the hours that you need and that they should be? Have you got the right equipment on there? Halfway through the season, check again. Where are you? Where can you get some extras? Can you do some extra removals, some extra saltings? Do you need extra inspections? Those are the things that I think really, really make the difference when you get to that point of refining and job costing as you go. Do not leave job costing to the end of the job. Cost as you go.
That's phenomenal. I was going to say there's a great book that's on my to-do list this winter. It's a Debrief to Win is the name of the book, and I heard it at a webinar. It's something I'm going to be diving in this winter because that debrief is so critical. Like, don't debrief in March on how snow went. Snowstorm by snowstorm, what's working, what's not working. They say the space shuttle on reentry, right, repositions 30,000 times a second. Like that's how we should be approaching our snow operation, not a week later, hey, what worked, or at the end of the season, God forbid, what worked, what didn't work. Like let's look at it at a very granular level and refine that plan. I love what you talked about, Janna. That's so rich. There's so much there. Maybe we should have got you guys both on for the sales and marketing intensive on Monday, because I feel like that just yin and yangs right with it. Robert asked a really, really good question. I want to save that one, Robert, for the tail end, because that's a great question, and maybe Janna can speak to that one later. That's a pretty heavy hitting question. But for right now, we'll stay on task with this one, Lex. So we'll go back to you. But this, folks, if you're not taking notes, I don't know what else you're looking for. This is good stuff. So Lex, back to you, girl.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I was just going to highlight that I think in anything, but especially snow, that continuous feedback loop, that's what's really going to ensure that you're staying on task, but you also know what's working well and what's not, and the why. Because like I said, snow gets hectic, and I don't have to tell anyone here that. And then what I also like to highlight is eliminating paperwork, because I'm sure when it comes to snow, that wet paper being handed, that it crumpling in the truck is definitely not something anyone wants to deal with. So obviously with things like LMN, the idea of eliminating paperwork comes with that job prep, which I think goes right back to the pre-season prep that Nicole and Janna have both highlighted. Obviously to LMN, there's things such as job tasks. Specifically, I would say task notes of like really setting expectations. You have 1,000 characters in LMN if you use the software to really set up what should be happening, what you should know. And what I really love is that those notes come up right before they punch in. So it's right in their face, and hopefully their brightness is up if it's dark out, so that they can really take in what's being said. I also love it as well, because on the Element software is like, if you want to simplify those punch-in tasks, I know sometimes estimates, they can get pretty broad, specifically if you're using per event or per event pricing, if you're not just doing a seasonal contract. I love it because you can just kind of group things together if you need. So it's just, this is a lot plow, this is your salting, this is your shoveling. In terms of setting expectations, Janna and Nicole, what worked best for you guys, and what did you improve upon when it came to those expectations year after year?
I would say you really set the tone with your planning. So if you want their bar set really high, you've got to put on a show, and really be very thorough, be very detailed, be very organized, be very structured in how you present things. So put some time into that and thought into that. Try not to rush through it, even if you're giving up a Sunday or a Saturday to do it, or some of your evening time. I think you'll be grateful for it. It really just kind of sets the tone. So yeah. I'm
I
sure
love that.
but I'll see what Janna says.
Yeah, no, it's progressive, right? Listen, you're not going to be able to put every single detail and implement everything like on the first year of kind of going digital, or just even starting a snow, division. But I think keeping the basics of, what's your equipment, where are they supposed to be, how long is it supposed to take them, what the issues were, and being able to actually just convey and communicate the importance to the drivers and the operators that this information back is just as important as the plow or the snow clearing or the de-icing is. So I think historically we've always battled, get in the truck, go out and plow, I'll deal with the paperwork later, right? And that just is not efficient anymore. It doesn't allow for billing. It's hard on payroll. You're waking people up. Like, we can't do that anymore. So that all comes through the training, and there's a million excellent, ways to train, whether it's in person or it's, things like Greenius, or you're doing, virtual calls, or you're using, drones to film your locations and things like that. But being able to put that expectation into something that's in the palm of your operator's hand, that they can just click through and give them the amount of information. We would always approach it like, what if we had a new driver, or if a driver from another route had to come over to this location, what's the information that's critical that they would need to know? Because yes, you kind of have operators that do the same route, or they've done it for years, but what is the critical information that needs to be on there in those little pieces in the setup of the job if somebody new was coming to do it? You want to be able to say to that new guy, go plow here. If he's already plowed, it shouldn't matter the location because you have all the information in the palm of your hand on the phone.
Love that.
I love that. Janna, we set up like a Google Drive with a lot of our Synthesia videos in it, and some of them are like little snippet videos. So we could like text those to people. Hey, you didn't do your timesheet right. Here, why don't I give you that training again? And then the whole library can also be available via a link that could then be available to, some of your other drivers. And then I noticed Kevin Bell asked a question that I thought was interesting, but how do you prepare for stone? Some years you can get 15 inches total and sometimes 50 to 75. I thought this tied in nicely with what we're talking about now. And what I would say is make sure you have some partners. So for those bigger storms, I say like follow people on LinkedIn that are really big snow and ice people. I've gotten some really great ideas from Chase Ireland recently. Joshua Gamez is amazing and at a level that I can't even touch, but I do find some ideas there as well. But Chase mentioned teaming up with farmers to kind of utilize their equipment, and I thought that was really smart. We team up with a lot of contractors who are not, more like excavation companies and things like that. So when we do need to scale up to that 50 to 75 inches was his example, to something bigger than what we normally see, having those partnerships and being able to say, hey, you guys are stuck in the snow not being able to do anything either. How about you come help us and we can give some hours and some hours to and some employment to your people as well. And that ends up being something that works out well. So kind of network and stay connected and be innovative and think of ways you can help each other.
Yeah, I think there's sorry, Brian.
Oh, I was just gonna chime in. I think snow is Latin for contingency plan, so it's I love what you said there. Like have a second plan and a third plan because you will exhaust A, B, C, and D, maybe even E and F. I'm sure Janna can speak to that. So go ahead.
Oh yeah. I was just gonna say, like, I think there's a contract element there to it. I think you should be able to focus on your niche areas. Do you have residential areas? Do you have commercial, industrial, schools, hospitals, whatever it might be? And then structure those presentations or those marketing packages or sales package to a 3-5 year contract where incentivizes those customers to contract with you for that duration of the time. So then I go back to the law of averages. I'm comfortable kind of not overbuying equipment, but buying equipment that might be able to sit on the other side and sit idle a little bit, maybe in year one, but we know we're going to potentially use it a lot in year two. So chase down those contracts or those tenders that have those multi-years or that have the flexibility to go in with a lower base rate or a lower package and say, hey, if we get the storm of the century, this is what your billing is going to look like. And here's what our operations are going to look like.
Love that. Love that. All right, Lex, back to you. Awesome.
Absolutely. And just for the sake of time, I am going to just hop through a couple of these slides since I think we've spoken about quite a few. And I think a lot of us are LMN users here. One thing I did want to touch on is how kind of all this pre-season, during the season, which we've highlighted is incredibly important, and post-season, and I think this slide really shows you of how we can all pull it together. And that's really the experience of our snowplow operators, those who are on site and actually doing the work. That helps with that cash flow, right? I just wanted to ask Nicole and Janna, in terms of your experience, what really was the most impactful piece for your snow operators? And even Brian, if you'd like to chime in, because as an account manager, I get a lot of the complaints about, what is the issue, what we need to solve. But I just want to hear kind of like being the actual business owner, what's really impactful and what have you had to improve on just so we can get this work done.
Nicole?
Gosh, I was hoping Janna could go first. So I could add from there.
That's a big question.
It is a big question. I don't even know how to begin to answer it. Gosh. Yeah, I think I'm going to lob it to Janna and see if I can just add.
Yeah, sure. I think, I think it always comes back to the number one issue of people and culture, right? And training. Because at the end of the day, if you've got a really good team who are incentivized to be there, you've got the right culture, they're willing to learn, they're willing to be organized, they're willing to pitch in and help each other, that's required in snow. Like, snow happens, right? I was going to use a different word there, but and at the end of the day, like, it's all about the team. It's about your training, and being able to, whether it's training on equipment or training in processes, or training online for different procedures, whether you're using Greenius or you're actually training on an app or training just filling out paperwork. It doesn't matter the systems that you're using. That creates the culture and the organization and the goals. And if you've got a culture that knows how to set a goal that says, hey, we're going to crush this snowstorm and we're going to do this and we're going to get through it and we're going to have zero safety issues and we're going to have zero complaints, and we're going to come out of this beating our hours that we estimated for the season, and everybody has leveled up their skills in some sort of manner, then that for us was always the goal. So it comes back to your people and your culture and your training and your team.
Yeah, I love that. I have to piggyback right off of that, only because Nicole asked and Lex asked. But as we look to grow our snow operation too, training is everything. And really, one of the tenets of lean that I've come to learn in the last couple of years is one of them is unused people talent. And when I started asking my team, hey, like, where's our holes? What can we do as a team? Like, how do we approach this snowstorm together? Is there anything you guys can see that I can't see? And instead of just having my brain into snow, which is what caused probably half of my gray hairs. Now I can enlist the help of my team. And instead of one brain trying to solve this thing, we've got multiple brains and perspectives and approaches. And that just gets everybody, it's an entirely different conversation. It's an entirely different culture. It's not just relying on the quarterback to make the awesome play and get the first down. Everybody has a role. Everybody has skin in the game, and everybody's building a plan together. And I know Matt Krinklaw's in here. He's talking about Greenius in the chat. Like, abso-freaking-lutely. Train, plan. And like Janna said, build a culture of snow fighters and snow warriors, right? Like that is what wins Super Bowls in snow. And if it's just you out there calling the shots and it kind of feels lonely, especially at 2 o'clock in the morning in a plow truck, and it can be, but it's not when you get all your guys in a group chat and a text chat and a phone call conversation and you call your best friends at 3 o'clock in the morning and we're all talking junk about customers that don't pay. It's an entirely different fun experience. You look forward to doing snow versus dreading snow, right? And so
Yeah.
I can't echo what you're saying enough, Janna. That's really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys
Or it could also be the World Series that the Toronto Blue Jays are intending on going to.
Knew that was coming. Love it.
You guys
All right,
did a great job of helping me organize my thoughts. Is there time for a couple, or do you guys need to move on?
I think for time we might want to just pivot
Okay.
because I know we got a little bit more left to go, but yeah, if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Absolutely.
Lex, back to you.
Absolutely. And just for time as well, I think we got a lot of great screenshots in here, but I really just wanted to highlight solving the accuracy challenge. And I think we've highlighted it across this webinar today, but really adding in technology, and yes, I'm biased towards LMN, but any type of resource that is digital to ensure that we're taking things out of your mind and putting it somewhere so that everyone knows what you're thinking about, what needs to be done, the expectations. And I think it's just very impactful, especially for snow, using the crew app and knowing like, hey, there is a PDF of our SOPs. Oh, I can find the site map so that I know I need to put snow here. And if I put it up against this gate, a politician's going to be very mad at me in the school early in the morning. So I think that's very impactful. But I just wanted to kind of tie it all together with technology and just how it is solving problems. But Nicole, Janna, obviously you guys have a lot of technology and resources that you're utilizing, and I just want to have you speak to really what is making sense for you right now.
One thing that someone asked in the chat how we get site maps into LMN. I thought that might be an interesting thing to respond to along these lines. But one thing we do is we'll take a screenshot of Google Earth of the site. We'll mark it up in publisher pages or a lot of different documents you can use, then create a PDF, then put that in files in LMN, and then it's at everyone's fingertips. You can also laminate it and put it in the trucks, laminate it and put it in your storage areas on site so it's available to folks. But just to kind of answer that question, it feels like it's a little in line with what we're discussing here, and a really good way to kind of make that information available in a lot of different places.
One thing I just wanted to chime in and be super quick with this is don't feel like you have to do all this. You have a team of 5 guys, 25 guys, 125. Like, empower your team to make SOPs.
Mhm.
That's something that I'm learning, and I have to get out of my own way. All these maps. Well, we don't have maps. Well, no problem. We're going to have a little bit of downtime over the next couple of weeks. Bring some bagels in, some hot food, whatever you got to do. Teach 10 people how to literally start doing this. You
Mhm.
got to get it out of your head and get it out on paper and put it in these apps. And don't feel like what Nicole was just proposing, that you have to do it all on your own. Because I can feel like the stress could go up when you start hearing some of this stuff. But please note, some of my best strategies, some of the best tactics that we're using in my current company have come from my frontline guys. Shocker.
Mhm.
The guru
Mhm.
himself can learn from somebody else, right? So empower your team. My guys are right now in the shop building our routes, building our site maps. They took all the photos. They're letting me know what we need for parts and equipment list orders. That is a breath of fresh air. Okay, folks. So I don't care if you built a tremendous organization like Downer Brothers or TBG, or you're a little bit smaller outfit like myself currently. This is very encouraging and very refreshing when you have a team approaching snow. So don't feel like you have to do it all. I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this accuracy piece, all of these items are kind of in the moment with simple technology solutions that resolve those things there, and being a team for sure. And I think Laborio put in the chat, should we bid on a new property when you're at capacity regarding equipment, or do you bid only if you have the capacity? Well, this goes back to the accuracy of having, really, really good data and information. I know within LMN, you have the ability to go in and job cost, and you have the ability to go in and do a budget and like play with your budgets, whether or not your budget's on Excel or LMN or wherever it is, go in and play with your budget. So say, okay, if I bought 2 more skid steers and a loader, how much more revenue would I need to do to cover the cost of that for the season and still make a profit? Or conversely, if I bought those, how much would it decrease my profit this year? And I'm comfortable with that. So you have the ability to go in and say, maybe I want to grow my snow. How much am I going to chase? Or I would like to do $100,000 in revenue. What equipment do I need? So go in and leverage your numbers and your budget to answer that question. We all typically have a gut of whether or not it's time to buy another piece of equipment, but back that up with playing with your numbers from all your data. It's super important. And this goes back to this accuracy of having all this data at your fingertips, of knowing your production rates and your costs and how quick things are and how much you can plow.
Awesome. Lex, back to you.
Absolutely. I just wanted to check, did we want to start digging into those meaty Q&As if we have some time?
Yes, let's cover one more slide. I think if you want to queue up, if you want to speak to this one, and then let's do the Q&A, because we've got one more next one. We got the budget from Adam and Sarah. They were yesterday. So let's you want to talk about this for a quick minute?
Absolutely. So LMN community acceleration. So if you don't know, you should by now, and I hope you've attended, but LMN has these great community events. I actually moderate on Wednesdays, so you might have seen me before. But what's coming up is we're doing some snow bidding and snow operations. So they are going to be a 2-parter. And basically, we just want you to show up and just listen to the content. And then the great part of it is you get to ask questions. And then if you have any kind of more company specific ones, we do have 15-minute meetings after the fact. If you just want to speak to an account manager at LMN, just to say like, hey, you said this and this is what I'm doing. What do you recommend? So I love doing that. And I think it's really awesome for the masses to all come together and just kind of talk about snow and what everyone else is doing. So I will take a minute if anyone wants to scan that QR code.
And then I'll tee up a next slide that's coming up. We've got some more conversations for you guys if you want to go down all things the rabbit hole of LMN and Greenius. There's never a better time right now to, in my opinion, adopt Greenius, especially if you're going into snow. So as you continue to go into the winter season, start recording those training videos, build that out. Again, you don't have to do it all, but we've got a great conversation and a great offer, obviously, for LMN and Greenius. Obviously not here to give you a pitch on any of that, but a lot of you guys are excited about graduating software and making that jump. We're almost 2 years deep into our journey with LMN, and I cannot even imagine approaching my landscaping company without LMN. Like, Janna, where were you guys 15 years ago, right? Actually, where was I? Where was I was the question. So I love it. I love it. Well, let's do this really quick. I know we're at time, folks, but if you guys want to stick around for just one quick minute, I do want to answer two big, great questions that came in. I know Nicole's been working her fingers answering all those questions over here, so thank you to Nicole. But I wanted to go back to one of the questions we have earlier from Robert. Heavy question, but Janna, I'll kick it to you maybe on this one, and then Nicole, I'm going to give you the second question. So Janna, this gentleman asked, knowing your numbers sometimes makes me the lowest bidder. There's got to be a better rule of thumb. Do you have any approach for when you guys are trying to bid sites so you don't end up being the lowest bidder, or how can you price to stay competitive as well?
Yeah, and I mean, if this question really relates to kind of leaving money on the table, I'm assuming that's kind of the question is, I think you have the ability to go in and understand really your break-even points and where you can, I mean, it literally tells you, here's your break-even point. But I think there's two checks here. I think there's a safety check where you go back and say, do my ratios actually make sense? Does my labor ratio make sense? Is my overhead correct? Am I really capturing all of my costs, so to speak, that are in my overhead? Is my equipment right? Do you have a reserve for that equipment that's going to break down and you're eventually going to have to replace? And if all those things check out, then I think you can be in a very unique place where snow allows you to have a higher profit margin, and you might just be able to be marking up that area for a better, higher service. So chase down those niche contracts where you get to a point where, and I know in our experience, we started to kind of not fire, but maybe let contracts eliminate that we weren't such a higher profit margin. And then we would chase down the easier, bigger plows, having similar equipment, higher profit margins, and you just kind of rotate out those lower paying or harder contracts that are kind of the pain in the ass factor, and you replace them with a new, bigger, shiner, friendlier, higher profit margin. So if you're the lowest bid and you feel like you're leaving money on the table, then just look at trying to shift towards accepting that bigger profit and looking after a niche part of the snow market, because they're out there.
I love that. I love that. Chase in the comments, do an ICP audit every season. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. We're at time, but I want to get one last question in here. This is a great one. Nicole, I'm lobbing this up to you. You're in the captain's chair on a lot with Downer Brothers. So what is your biggest advice for women leading groups of men in snow operations? I'm in a truck every night with them, but have taken over the leadership and management role. So any suggestion for rallying the troops when it's the other side of the aisle?
In my experience, I think as a woman, it's I feel like we're in a unique position to lead. I just think we're a little bit different. We don't butt heads. It's not like a battle of the egos. It's I tend to be very deferential. I tend to ask for opinions. I tend to try to draw out what their planning is and what their ideas are, and then really try to celebrate those and then ask for the pivots or suggest the evolved thinking. And I think a lot of times women have a really unique way to be a little more collaborative in a male-male environment. It can end up with a little bit of the battle of the egos sometimes. And I think women have this different thing. And I don't think it's a liability. I think it's a superpower to be a woman in this industry.
Janna, do you want to add anything to that? Because I'm not saying anything extra. Nicole, perfect answer.
Yeah, no, that was a great answer, Nicole. And I think, yeah, absolutely. We're just as a collaborative. And I think, Jessica, if you're already sitting in that truck and you're already running operations and you've had that opportunity, then somebody's recognized and you've put the work in. And if it's your own business, good for you, girl. There is a lot of people out there. It doesn't matter which front office, back office, in the field, educationer, operations. We are just as superpowers as the rest of them. And if you're there, you've earned that respect already. So I think you're good to go.
Beautiful. Well said. Love it. All right, guys. Well, let's do this really quick. First off, if you guys can do me a big solid, I love ending this way, but can you guys just drop a quick comment in the chat and say thank you, thank you, thank you to Nicole, Lex, and Janna. They did a phenomenal job. I love hearing all their perspectives, the ladies' perspective. It's phenomenal. And I couldn't thank them enough to share all their insight with all of us today. I hope you guys took some notes away from this because they were just dropping nuggets of wisdom. And I'm definitely going to go back and rewatch this so I can continue to take some notes on this as our organization continues to grow. Let's do this really quick. I just want to say we got one more day of the webinar series for Snow and Tell. Make sure you guys come on back tomorrow. We're going to talk about the Storm Playbook. We got a panel with Vince, Martin, David, and Brent. Let you guys know them from CIMA, the CEO of CIMA, Vince from the Grow Group. Phenomenal folks to tap with some great industry perspective and wisdom. So make sure you guys come back tomorrow. We'll make it worth it. It's going to be awesome. We'll end with some high energy, and that'll be the cork in it for the week of Snow and Tell tomorrow. So same time, same place. All things being said, if you guys have any questions on Greenius, you guys have any questions on LMN or any of the resources that Nicole and Janna and Lex were talking about today, just reach out to the LMN team. We'll make sure to get you guys all of those. All right. That's what we got for you guys today. Thank you for the little bit extra time. Sorry for going over. I do apologize, but I think with the answers that these gals provided, it was absolutely worth it. So thank you guys for joining us today. All right, guys, over and out. Have a great rest of the day and evening. We look forward to catching up with all you guys here on the next one. Thank you. Bye now.